Oh boy, Hollywood is in trouble in 2024. We've already known this for a while, but heading into a very tumultuous year, one of the biggest casualties is more than likely going to be Hollywood as a whole. Now, it's not going to totally collapse, right? Like, it's not going to go away like the dictaphone or the dodo bird, but is it going to substantially contract? Well, we actually know that for sure. Like, half of the number of projects that came out in 2023 are going to come out in 2024, and that what we're going to see in the cinema, it looks a lot like a comprehensive laundry list of iterative material. But one of the first things that is going to be coming out in just a few days here, January 9th. January 9th, you're going to be getting Echo. What the hell is Echo? Well, it's a Marvel Studios D+ show, and for the first time ever, there's two. They would like to tell you that there's more significant ones, but there are two firsts that you're going to be getting from this Disney+ streaming show. You are going to get, on January 9th, all 5 episodes, even though they shot like 6 and that they had to do substantial edits on it, and then it just ended up coming down to 5 episodes. But no, don't worry, guys. It's going to be totally fine. And it's also going to be the first R-rated Disney Plus show to go up on the streaming service. It's also simultaneously going to be going out on Hulu as well, but we got a little behind-the-scenes teaser, and brother, I want you to brace for impact on this one, because it's something.
And action!
By the way, okay, that's your hero on that one. She looks like every employee from the federal government that works in Alberta, okay? Might be a little bit too local of a reference, but I think you get where I'm going with that one. Oh my god. Cool, she breaks somebody's neck and looks completely and totally satisfied with her work right there. But you're probably asking yourself, okay, because you're a regular human being and you don't study this stuff vociferously online, who the hell and what the hell is an Echo? Well, Echo, my friends, is a spin-off character from the Tree of Daredevil, okay? Established first in the MCU with the Hawkeye series. You guys remember that one? Of course you don't, but Echo was established, right? Her main defining characteristics, at least in the adaptation that you're seeing in the MCU, is that she's Native American. Another glass ceiling breaking accomplishment, right? Nobody really cares. She's also an amputee, so she is also differently abled. I think that's the appropriate term, right? As well as also being deaf. Yeah, so she's deaf, she lost a leg, and you're thinking, okay, so she's Native American, and this is a part of the MCU, so she has like superpowers or something like that. Well, yeah, she can communicate with smoke signals. No. Puts messages into empty scope bottles and then just floats them across the No, it's different than that, okay? She legitimately does sign language in order to communicate. It's gonna be so great, okay? Like, it wasn't so bad enough that you had to notice the difference between her doing that interview right there and then, her close up right here, and notice, wow, I guess, does the camera add an additional 50 pounds? The belabored production schedule of this show itself has been ridiculous, but getting back to her powers, because it's vastly different between the comic books, which is kind of interesting, but it is derivative, okay, because she has Taskmaster powers. Now, what does Taskmaster powers involve? You're able to just copy your opponent's fighting style at a moment's notice. Hence why her name was Echo. But because the showrunner that you've seen right here at the beginning, Sydney Freeland, thought that was boring. Oh yeah, that's boring. Something incredibly cool is clearly inferior to her ability to call on the fighting styles of her ancestors. Fantastic stuff. Can she go ahead and throw a straight right like I can? Because as a quarter native, I'm sure that we probably share some genealogy somewhere down the line. But how do ancient fighting techniques help against a gun? I'm not entirely sure about that. I'm not going to quite have the exact same criticism as I normally would when it comes to just, small, or at least short women beating the crap out of guys that are 260 pounds, 6'6", because clearly the weight advantage has been neutralized in this case. This is another one of those situations, and there was a trailer that came out, I think in November or something like that, and really hyping it up. Oh my god, Kingpin, you got Vincent D'Onofrio back, and he's got bloody knuckles, he beating up people. Oh my god, he's throwing punches and all that stuff. So yeah, once again, just key jangling. Oh my god, you guys remember Kingpin? He was in Daredevil, and you like Daredevil. Oh right, yeah, that television series that was released on Netflix that Disney didn't have anything to do with. Yeah, people really like that. And don't worry, we definitely won't make a mockery of Kingpin like we did in the Hawkeye series. Oh god, this is destined for failure, but you can go ahead and assess that for everything that is coming out in 2024, because guys, it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a real tough year, because you do a rundown of everything that's coming out. So we got sequels in 2024. Joker 2, for as good as the first Joker was, okay, it made over $1 billion on a $50 million budget. You're throwing Lady Gaga in there, and she's going to be playing the tired character of Harley Quinn. We'll see if they can go ahead and capture lightning in a bottle twice, but skeptical, given the fact that it's also supposed to be a musical. Yeah, it's going to be a tough road to hoe, but we'll see. Dune 2, hear great things about that. It's going to be very interesting, and yeah, if it keeps up to the same type of quality that Dune 1 was from a couple of years ago, it should be good, it should be fine. Smile 2, and another horror film, Sonic 3, Venom 3, Terrifier 3, Gladiator 2, which, oh my god, I can't believe that's getting made. That's, anyways. Bad Boys 4, Deadpool 3, Inside Out 2, Beetlejuice 2, Paddington 3, Ghostbusters 4, Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4, Beverly Hills Cop 4? What? Yeah, and Eddie Murphy's also going to be in that. I think it's called I think it's Beverly Hills Cop 4, the Axel Foley Chronicles. There's also a couple of other things that are in there as well. Okay, there's a new Karate Kid, but is that necessarily a sequel or a reboot? Very little is actually known about that, but sorry guys, more derivative fare with animated movies. You got Fixed, you got Garfield, Watchmen, Spellbound, Inside Out 2, Ultraman, Rises, The Wild Robot, Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4, Wallace and Gromit, Transformers 1, Orion and the Dark, Winnie and the Pooh prequel. Yeah, because we really needed to know how Winnie the Pooh was stitched up and where he got his stuffing from. Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. Okay, whatever. Saving Bikini Bottom, Sandy Cheeks, obviously a SpongeBob SquarePants spin-off. Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's probably going to be better than the CW version. And The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. I take a look at that list, and what? Fixed, The Wild Robot, maybe, and Orion in the Dark. 3 films, 3 titles on that list that might be original. Now, I've said this before. There's nothing wrong with making a sequel. There's nothing wrong with doing a remake. As long as you write it competently, you cast appropriately, and you characterize well enough. That's all we really ask for at the end of the day, and that is something that Hollywood has jettisoned for the better part of a decade, spurning so many fans, losing an entire generation at the cinema. Speaking of a lost generation, things that are going to be dead on arrival, superhero/villain projects coming in 2024. Echo, which we've seen before, and don't worry guys, it's going to be really great. Everybody's going to love it a lot. Craven, Agatha, oh my god. The other Marvel streaming show. There's 3 projects that Marvel is putting out in 2024. Echo, Agatha, and of course the Deadpool 3, which you see down there. But Joker 2, Venom 3, that's the Sony side of things, okay? So you might think that Spooderman's under the Marvel umbrella. You would be correct. But Sony's doing anything that shoots web, including Madam Web that's down there, which, oh boy, that looks like something, that's for true. X-Men 97. I thought that ended up getting pushed back, but if that ends up coming out, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it to shout out Jon Snow. Kite Man, whatever that is. The Penguin, Boys Season 4. Great. Hopefully it's up to the same high quality Season 2 and 3 were. Yay. Megamind Show, Eyes of Wakanda. Sorry, what? Suicide Squad, Isekai, Watchmen Animated, Creature Commandos. Oh, right, the official launch of James Gunn's DCU with an animated team-up literally dozens of people are going to check out. Nobody knows, okay? Unless you're a hardcore DC fan, you don't know what the Creature Commandos are, and why are you starting everything? It's dead on arrival, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's wonderful. But you want to take a look, okay? Because breaking it down right here with this a little helpful infographic really just shows what we're heading for in 2024 at the cinema, what we can expect. Night Swim's going to be coming out very shortly. I've seen a couple of ads for that, and it just looks it looks goofy, okay? It's definitely trying to capitalize on the whole low-budget horror film that comes out early in the year. You had Megan last year, and I think Smile came out the year before that, but there's nothing wrong with that. At least that one's unique. Argyle, I hear things about it, don't know anything about that. Madam Web, obviously, comes out on Valentine's Day. Fantastic. You can see a bunch of broads just stare at each other in the forest, okay? Just talking about how things might end up working out if they end up becoming spider people. Ugh. Dune Part 2. Nothing wrong to say about that one. Kung Fu Panda Part 4. I hear good things about the rest of the Kung Fu Panda franchise. Ghostbusters, was that Frozen Kingdom? I think is the tagline on that one. So a sequel to Afterlife, which didn't do all that much, but at least it undid some of the bad work that 2016 did. So Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, which looks horrific. If I knew what that was, I'd be able to summarize it for you. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. No Mel Gibson, no Mad Max. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I can't believe that that's still a revitalized franchise that is still going. Holy crap, like when did the first one of those come out? Like we're coming on about, what? I think like 2009, 2010 the first one came out. And they're taking their sweet-ass time on that one. Ballerina, a John Wick spinoff. Yeah, I guess if you like superheroes that shoot guns, fantastic. Stop being such a bitch and just do a Punisher film. Bad Boys 4. Yay, I can't wait to see a fat, disinterested Martin Lawrence and a cuck team up. Should be great, but they kind of fumbled the bag really hard with Bad Boys 3, given the fact that they called it Bad Boys Forever. You were going to make a fourth film, for God's sake. It was the perfect title. You blew it. Inside Out 2, because Disney needs to make some money. Quiet Place Day 1, Despicable Me 4, Twisters. Yes, a film that's a part of get this one, the Twister franchise. Now, if you aren't of a certain age, or if you didn't have a parent that loved to have TBS on all the time, you probably don't know that Twister was a big disaster film back in 90s. Okay, it had Bill Paxton and a hilarious meme of, okay, oh yeah, F3, F4, that'll rearrange your property pretty significantly without a thought. And then you had, oh my god, well, Bonnie Hunt, was that who that was? She asked, well, is there, oh no, that was Bill Paxton's girlfriend at the time. Bonnie Hunt was the other one that was still a part of the, tornado chasing team. Asks about, is there an F5? Oh my god, F5, finger god. Oh, it's so corny, but did have some Sammy Hagar. It had some Van Hagar, as backing track. So it's a product of its time, but you're about 30 years removed from a sequel. But then you hear from the production team behind it going, actually, it has nothing to do with the original. It's not a sequel. It's not a remake. It's not a prequel. It has nothing to do with it at all. It's just we couldn't get our own idea off the ground, so we're just going to go ahead and package this as a part of an IP that people kind of know, maybe potentially. Speaking of which, Deadpool 3. Deadpool's introduction firmly into the MCU. Put a pin in that one for a second. Then you have Borderlands, a video game adaptation. A video game franchise that has just kind of languished because, it breached its zenith with Borderlands 2 because it had multiple spin-offs, all the DLC in the entire world. And then 3 came out, and I remember Gearbox Studios going through, quite a bit of controversy. Their CEO or their founder, Randy Pitchford, going through quite a tumultuous time back in the cut. And it doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense because Borderlands isn't quite on top the same way that it was in about the mid-2010s. But okay, it might do something. It might revitalize the franchise, or it just could be an inoffensive action film. Maybe highly stylized. Don't know. Another Alien film. Should have stopped at 2. Kraven the Hunter. Oh yes, a B, maybe even C-level villain, a part of the Spider-Verse. Great. If you're not going to do the Kraven the Hunter plotline, I don't even know what you're doing, but it looks like ass. You can go see the trailer out there. Beetlejuice 2. Again, another film that nobody really asked for, but it's got a bunch of interesting names attached to the project. It does have, Tim Burton on it, and a lot of the originals have signed on to do it, so it'll be interesting. Transformers 1, apparently that's going to be an animated Transformers gimmick. Joker Part 2, very skeptical as to if that one's going to be good or not. There's like a 75% chance that it's going to be ass, but I'd love to be proven wrong. Venom 3, well, The other two have been ass, and then Gladiator 2, which I don't want. Can that just get lost on the way to the theaters? Okay. First one's perfect. The second one, oh my god, I've seen the plot synopsis, man. I'm definitely going to be covering that because that one's just going to hurt my soul. And then animated Lord of the Rings, that's not being done by Amazon, so that could be good. Yeah, and then the Karate Kid, a team up with Daniel LaRussa, okay, obviously Ralph Macchio, and Jackie Chan. I forget the name of his character in the Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, right? Jaden Smith was trying to be the Karate Kid, and they put it in China with Jackie Chan. And I remember Jackie Chan put in a pretty good performance, and well, Will Smith's kid was about as good as you'd expect Will Smith's kid to be. They're going to be doing something together where we're not entirely sure about the plot, but has a hard release date of December 13th, so that's something. And then Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The first two have really good word of mouth from the fans that are out there, and I know better than to cross Sonic fans, which I'm kind of a Sonic fan myself, but not quite following it as closely as a lot of those weirdos do. I'm sorry, very passionate fans. And then a Lion King prequel. Oh my god. Live action too, so yeah, strap yourself in for that. But as we ran down everything that's right there, do you see anything that has the potential of making $1 billion? A lot of people are saying that Deadpool's going to make $1 billion. Guys, that'll be lucky to get 750 million. I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. Despicable Me, there's going to be something on that list that makes $1 billion. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, probably going to make a lot of money. Is it going to hit $1 billion? I don't think the previous ones did, but maybe if it's going to be such a departure from the rest of the crap that's out there, it's got a shot, okay? But Despicable Me is probably the only film that's on there that's going to sniff $1 billion. This could be the first time in a very long time without the interruption that was 2020, where we're not going to have $1 billion movie at the box office. And after the long dong dicking, every single studio, except for Universal, who had distribution rights, or at least they got a taste of Oppenheimer and Super Mario Brothers. Every single one of them lost substantial amounts of money. I just did a video on this a couple of days ago. Please go check that out if you're so inclined. But they're gonna have to, okay, and Hollywood's gonna have to try to recoup some losses. And this ain't it. This, like, nothing on here outside of morbid curiosity would even entice me to go check out any of this stuff. Like, none of it's good enough to get excited about. I'm sure that there's some people that are out there that, you know, it'll just go back and go, oh yeah, I remember one of the earlier iterations in that franchise. It's still going, huh? All right, well, I'm sure it'll be good or something like that. But Hollywood's in a bind. We all know it. So what are they going to do in order to try to reverse course? They'll release physical media. Oh my god, man. At the time when Walmart, Best Buy have officially, as of the beginning of 2024, stopped with their distribution of physical media, which is so wild to think about, man. As somebody who worked in the media department of Best Buy and over the Christmas break, okay, Boxing Day, which is kind of like Black Friday for Canadians, but it was really sad because I went to my old stomping grounds and, well, Best Buy has just kind of turned into a really glorified cell phone shop, and they didn't have any of those old racks that I remember filling up with, you know, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays. It's all gone. And as a connoisseur of old Hollywood, I like to get myself some Blu-rays. I'm pointing at most of my collection that's right over here. I've got a couple of shelves of CDs, Blu-rays out the wazoo, some 4Ks as well. I like my physical media. I don't want to have to be at the beck and call of a streaming service where you're going to get inferior audio and picture quality. They can just go ahead and remove it at a moment's notice, or they can, on the fly, get rid of certain scenes. Okay, the one that immediately comes to mind as a Michael Jackson fan is what Matt Groening approved of with season 2 of The Simpsons, getting rid of the Michael Jackson cameo, one of the best episodes of that entire season, just because leaving Neverland accusations. So it's so nice that Hollywood is coming back full circle, thinking that, oh yeah, we could just do physical releases because everything that we touch turns to lead. So why not just go back to when things were profitable? And instead of learning the lessons as to why you guys were profitable, no, we had the ability to sell Blu-rays and DVDs. Oh my God, what? Might as well just come back with the big old white clamshell cases for your Disney releases at this point in time. After an unprecedented run of success for the Marvel Cinematic Universe completely and totally fell flat on its face in 2023, their first official box office flops, yes, 2 of them for sure. And then Guardians of the Galaxy barely scratching by. Like, you don't spend $300 million in order to make $20 million. 20 to 40 was what everybody's saying until we get the actual tax filings. As well, we'll have to go with that. 2019, Marvel Studios had one of their most prolific years. Disney in general did. They released the first Captain Marvel, followed by the Avengers Endgame, and then Sony Pictures had Spider-Man Far From Home. Next year, Marvel Studios released new projects in 2021 after the world took the year off because of a pandemic. And in 2021, they had, let's see if I can get this correct, they had Black Widow. Not great, but it had that staggered release. Shang-Chi, and then The Eternals, oof. I think there was one at the end of the year as well. And then 2022, they came back with a bang. They had Multiverse of Madness. Oh, Doctor Strange's terrible outing. Please, I implore you, I cannot recommend it highly enough, but Mahler's Breakdown, the 6-hour breakdown of Multiverse of Madness, it's fantastic. It's up there in the running for me as one of the best pieces of media on the entire YouTube platform. But in 2022, well, there was also other offerings from the MCU like Thor, Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther, not Black Panther story. We haven't even touched on the deluge, the sewage pipe that was opened when it comes to D+ streaming shows. We'd be here all day if we were to recount all of that madness. But instead of writing something even half decent, what's their solution? No, we're just gonna go ahead and give you a physical release of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Oh, bet you season 2 is going to be confirmed any day now, guys. One of the strongest selling points for Disney Plus was its ability that it would be a hub for everything MCU except for the Spider-Man movies and Incredible Hulk. But I think that they got the rights back from for the Incredible Hulk here earlier in the year, so maybe that one will turn back up, but not many people are going to watch that. I was fine with the 2008 film. I watched it a couple of times. I don't really remember a lot about it. So, you know what? Hey, at least inoffensive in 2023 going into 2024. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Still not great, but not that bad. But yes, Blu-ray and DVD releases are making a comeback. And why is that specifically? Because we know that studio executives can't keep their grubby little paws off of the films that they try to put out there. So when there is something good that comes along, people just buy up the physical releases because they know that, you know what? Hey, if I can just go ahead and hold on to my copy of Goodfellas, nobody can ever take that away from me just because, you know, they drop a couple of hard R's in there and eventually that'll become verboten across the entire internet. So they'll go ahead and, you know, get rid of the stack scene. Okay, for people who actually stomach Quentin Tarantino films, not because I'm a pussy when it comes to gore and blood or anything like that. I just think that he's a hack. But for the people that, you know, like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and Hateful Eight and all that other derivative crap, kind of like a talented Zack Snyder. The moment that he kicks the bucket or he sells off some of the rights to his franchise or to his IPs, oh boy, you best believe that all of those are going to be getting the old Hollywood whitewash. So why do you think, DVD and Blu-ray releases are making a comeback? Because your streaming services suck. You don't offer anything. And guess what? You don't have to pay a subscription service to turn on your Blu-ray player. But then again, I also don't want to give them any sort of ideas. So I'll just go ahead and cut it right there. Physical releases for the win. But if that is the lesson that Hollywood is learning when it comes to recouping some of its losses from 2023, it's going to be a long road ahead for them, but it's going to be hilarious for the rest of us. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.